नमस्कार। एकत्रित अतिथियों के लिए सूचना, आज की कलाकार तथा वक्ता द्वारा विरचित कुछ चित्र मेरे बाईं ओर मीडिया कक्ष में प्रदर्शित किए गए हैं। आप सबसे निवेदन है कि हम कार्यक्रम का श्री गणेश करें, इससे पहले आप सब उन चित्रों का निरीक्षण कर लें। इससे आपका उमा जी के विचारों से तादात्म्य बना पाना सरल होगा। Now this announcement in English. A collection of some of the artwork by today's artist and speaker is displayed in the media hall on my left. You may have a look at some of the paintings by Uma Ramakrishnan ji that are on display there. It will assist in greater understanding of the artist's thoughts. We'll begin the program at 7 o'clock. And let me remind you, please do keep your mobile phone in silent mode during the program. Thank you. नमस्कार, मैं युकेश कुमार बत्रा दूतावास के सभी अधिकारी गणों के साथ यहाँ एकत्रित समस्त अतिथि समाज का स्वागत करता हूँ। अष्ट सिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता जानकी माता हनुमान जी को यह वर देती हैं कि वे अपने भक्तों को अष्ट सिद्धियाँ प्रदान कर पाएंगे, ऐसे सामर्थ्य के वे स्वामी होंगे। और ये सिद्धियाँ हैं अणिमा, महिमा, गरिमा, लघिमा, प्राप्ति, प्राकाम्य आदि। शास्त्रों में व्याख्यायित ये जो 8 सिद्धियां हैं जिसके माध्यम से शरीर को अणु के समान सूक्ष्म कर सकते हैं, शरीर को बहुत बड़े आकार का बना सकते हैं, शरीर को बहुत भारी बना सकते हैं या शरीर को बहुत हल्का बना सकते हैं। मुझे लगता है कि एक चित्रकार अपनी तुलिका के माध्यम से, अपने विषयों के अंकन से इन समस्त शक्तियों का स्वामी होता है और उन शक्तियों का प्रयोग करता है। इन शक्तियों के समस्त चमत्कारों का मूर्त रूप, साकार रूप और उसके साकार होने से उस विराट निराकार का इंगित हमें आज देखने को मिलेगा सुश्री उमा रामकृष्णन के चित्रों में। आज होगा हमारा साक्षात्कार उमा जी की कल्पना के उद्गम से। We at the Embassy of India extend a very warm welcome to all our guests here today. In our Beholding India series of programs, we bring you a program titled A Walk Through the Artist's Mind, featuring a talk by Uma Ramakrishnan together with a slideshow. At the end of her talk, we invite the guests to put questions pertaining to the program only to the artist. But first, before we begin the program, I invite First Secretary Shri Pratik Mathurji for his welcome remarks.
Thank you, Yukesh. Thank you, and on behalf of the Embassy, all my colleagues, I extend a very warm welcome to everyone who's joined us today. We are indeed privileged, as Yukesh said, to play host to Ms. Uma Ramakrishnan. I'm sure all of you have witnessed her art, and I must say that we are very, very impressed, and in fact, we are thankful to her that today she's joined us. As everyone knows here, it's been our constant endeavor at the Embassy to showcase India's talent in the diverse fields of art, craft, music, dance, and culture, and present it to our esteemed audience, all of you. with a training and education in applied art, Umaji has experimented with various methodologies of portraying her feelings on the canvas and tease out her creative message for us to see and connect with. All of us, I'm sure, feel that an artist gives subjective interpretation to a shared reality, sometimes giving shape and form to the formless, subconscious societal urges. In that sense, an artist gives us the sight to see what is lying just beyond our lens. And therefore, without further ado, I would humbly request Ms. Uma Ramakrishnan to please address this gathering.
Namaste and good evening, everybody. And thank you, Pratik Mathuji and Yukeshji, for the introduction. As Yukeshji mentioned, my name is Uma Ramakrishnan, and I come from Mumbai in India, where I have lived all my life. I come from a family of scientists, and the field definitely interests me. But art took priority, and I went on to study art, choosing applied art over fine art to be able to sustain myself. 5 years of rigorous training later, I joined the advertising stream, working at many places before I opened my own advertising studio, and it is now running for the last 30 years. Writing poetry comes naturally to me, and I write poems for my colleagues' paintings as well as my own. The fine artist in me never died, and in the year 1998, I decided to start painting alongside my main advertising venture. Soon, I was doing 2 careers. So, in the year 2006, I had my first group show with 2 of my colleagues. It was opened by the well-known ad man, theatre and film personality, Mr. Bharata Natyam from Mumbai in India. I have also conducted camps for children, art camps for children, because I find that very interesting. As an artist, I have been asked many times, how do I conceive of an idea? Or what really inspires me? Or even how I decide upon a technique to render my concept in. An artist's mind is truly intriguing, and every artist thinks differently. The common factor, though, is that as artists, we connect with our Atma or the soul and hope to connect with others too. For this, we use a universal language. That reminds me of the phrase Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which means the world is one family. It is engraved in the entrance hall of the Parliament of India and in the soul of a true artist. To let the mind soar, there should be no boundaries of race, religion, or country. When we set the mind free, ideas are born. Where do ideas come from? Yes, thank you. Where do ideas come from? What really inspires us? For me, the blank canvas is the source of inspiration, literally and metaphorically. It is where I set my mind free. I can see and imagine whatever I like because the mind is a blank canvas and at peace. See and imagine, that reminds me of the word Maya. In Buddhism and Hinduism, Maya means the power by which the universe becomes manifest. In other words, Maya is illusion. It is the play of the Supreme, often referred to as the Leela in Indian scriptures. Every creation is illusory. Coming up soon is one of my large canvases titled Maya. But before that, I'll tell you how that canvas got filled up. As I sit and gaze at the blank canvas, one of my favorite dance forms comes to mind, Bharata Natyam. It's an Indian classical dance form. Anything can come to mind. This time it was the Bharata Natyam. And I began to think, what lies beyond that dance form? Will the pattern of the footprint say something? I decided to find out, and I'll take you through that journey. I called up my friend whose daughter is an exponent of the dance form and asked her to bring her little girl over for an experiment that I had in mind. I knew she would enjoy it. When they were at my studio, I explained to the 12-year-old what she was required to do. She was as excited as I was. That's not the painting on the screen, it's how it began. I laid a huge canvas on the floor and started applying paint on the little girl's feet. And she was dancing on the large blank canvas. The footprints were getting superimposed and the colors were getting mixed up on the canvas. We were enjoying the moment. Can you imagine the scene? Giggling, laughter, slipping, color all over the place. It was a children's day out at my studio. This again is a section of the painting. It's not the complete one. Finally, I put up the canvas on the wall and started looking at it. My imagination started to work and figures started to show up on the canvas. Now there, now gone, like searching for forms on a cloud. We've all done that sometimes, haven't we? Just, if you look at the painting carefully, you will see dancing figures sometimes looking one way and then another. You'll see multiple faces on one dancing figure. They were changing just like it happens in a dance. I was seated at a distance from the canvas, and I would run towards the canvas, brush in hand, to catch what I had seen from the distance. Sometimes it would be there, and sometimes it would disappear or be looking the other way. Either way, it was extremely difficult to catch the moment. But it kept me absorbed in that canvas. That's the complete painting. When the canvas was almost done, I discovered this huge figure stretching across the canvas. Can you see? Resting on a mridangam, which is a percussion instrument. And I set about bringing out that figure, and I figured, that's me, of course, the dreamer. After about 2.5 years of total involvement with the canvas, it was complete. It was then that I decided to call it Maya after the little girl's name, as it fitted so perfectly with the painting. You can see from where the thought started, the blank canvas, and where it has ended. This canvas was huge, and I had to put it up on a wall and climb a stool and run up and down to finish it. An artist's thought process is not confined to time and space. In paintings, we can actually see the mind move from one period to the other. I'll give you an example. In the course of a discussion, I was once asked by a friend, how is it that you have such quick problems to difficult questions? How is it that you have such quick answers to difficult problems? And what makes you so sure that you're right? I didn't have an answer to that question, but she was insistent. So I decided to work the thought process backwards. And I told her that I see this white line coming from a distance, like a flash, and then I have the answer. She seemed to be convinced with that answer. Phew. But the thought stayed with me. And many years later, while I was sitting in front of a blank canvas, the thought came back to me, and it formed the basis for my painting, which I called intuitive thought. Often painting inspires me to write poetry, like I said before, and I have a little poem that will take you through the painting. I'll read a few lines and flip to the painting so that you can see the painting while I recite. Intuitive thought. You know the answer and believe you cannot be wrong. You follow your wisdom and come out strong. Like a flash from the dim past into the present times is a silvery line called intuitive thought. See how an abstract, simple answer to a friend turned into a painting and a poem, seeking an explanation from myself to the answer that I had given to a friend took me beyond time and space. This painting has its source in the theory of rebirth or karma. I believe that the folds in the brain are memories of experiences we've had in the past life. The doodles in the painting are the folds in the brain. There is also the shape of an embryo turning around, denoting rebirth. The multiple faces on both sides are the many people we've been associated with in the many lives that we've had. The thought itself has its roots in Indian culture. In the painting, the squiggles on the side of the past life are of people sitting around campfires, children playing, prehistoric man, if you like to call that, animals, to denote the distant past. The answers to questions that may arise in your mind regarding the different elements in the painting lie in the detail. The more you keep looking, the more you will find. I, as an artist, would like to keep you involved with the painting for a long, long time. Your thoughts, your emotions add a new dimension to the painting. Now we come to the phrase sea of emotions. Your emotions make you react and interact with the world in a certain way that makes you who you are. Emotions touch your soul and leave lasting impressions on the blank canvas of your mind forever. The phrase sea of emotions intrigued me, especially as I see different emotions on the faces of people surrounding me. I analyzed the phrase, and in my painting, Sea of Emotions, I wanted to portray the sea to denote the fathomless depth of emotions. The image in parallel mirrors is infinite. So the composition is divided like the image in parallel mirrors. That one. A range of emotions are depicted, and paint is dripping in the entire canvas to give the feel of water. If you look long enough, you will find fish of different types in the background and on the faces. Can anyone see the fish? Oh, that's great. For those who can't, if you follow the dots, you'll probably come to a fish and you'll see them all over. It's completely made up of that. I have tried to include the flora and fauna of the sea without disturbing the emotions. Can anyone see the eyes? I'm sure those eyes are mine, and I am surprised at the range of emotions a human being is capable of. As artists, we keep dreaming. So next, I'll step into the subconscious mind, the dream world. When we sleep, the blank canvas descends like a screen. Another space where ideas are born is the dream. What adds interest, however, to the painting is how we interpret the dream. I decided to make one such dream into an abstract painting, as the thought in the dream was so abstract and my interpretation of it even more so. But first, allow me a poem to lead you into the painting. Layers of the mind. In a pitch dark frame, in a black and white dream, I saw myself, head resting on a pillow, and in the tight close-up, layer upon dark layer, peeling off the eyelids, a feeling of heaviness, of being in deep slumber, wanting to awake but unable to shake the drowsiness I remember. Strange dreams transgress the subconscious mind and leave lasting impressions in the realm of the conscious behind. As the brush begins to interpret, the abstract dream unfolds, with square upon square juxtaposed, the corners peeling off in glowing colors like the embers of a dying flame, and the shape of an eye cutting across, as if throwing light on a secret and telling me of 7 layers to uncover before I see the light. The dream was in black and white, but because it was an interpretation of the dream, I decided to use the 7 colors of the rainbow. I normally paint directly with colors, but this one needed a preliminary drawing. Though it looks pretty simple, it was complex because the rectangles were all superimposed with the corner peeling off, and each rectangle was of a different color. When I finished the painting, the surprise element was the face on the pillow, just like it was in the dream. Can anyone see the face on the pillow? Yes. Oh, wow. For those who need to see it, these are the eyes, this is the mouth, this is the face, and that is the pillow. These surprises give me the high. They are the ecstasy for me as an artist. You must have noticed by now that my subjects form an important part in defining my style. I paint in different styles because I feel that every topic deserves a special treatment. I like the versatility of that different mediums afford. I have done some bas-reliefs with plaster of Paris and paper mache. My website has them for you to see, innervisionart.in. Here you will also see the works of two of my colleagues, and I'll take you through some of their works to show you how every artist's source of inspiration is very different. While I come from the south of India, my colleagues come from Gujarat and Maharashtra, the western part of India. And our exposure to the environment, be it the home, clothes, food, style, culture, religion, even celebration, permeates into our individual lives. In the larger sense, we all have the same blank canvas, but we fill it up with our individualistically different minds, thoughts, and experiences. That is India for you. I am going to discuss the works of another contemporary artist, Anil Paule's inspiration source and the resulting works. For Anil Paule, every incident becomes a story, and every story becomes a painting. Where do stories come from? Some from reading books, some from listening to people talk, and some from life itself. The energy of this 75-year-old is amazing. He conducted a huge art camp in Alibag, India, for differently abled children, telling the parents that he will take care of them, all of them, for some time. And he did, by conducting the art camp. He collects people around him and listens to all they have to say. Life is his blank canvas, and people who are his inspiration transform into the characters in the painting. Before I come to his painting, a little quote. Bhagavad Gita, verse 27, chapter 3 says about the ego, "He who is completely deluded by the ego thinks, I am the doer." In Anil's painting, Ahankar or ego, the underlying story is an answer to someone's workplace problems. The story in the painting is set in a quaint village where the village deity is brought out of the temple once a year and taken around the village on a donkey's back for all to worship. The donkey's position is thus elevated. As a large procession greets as a large crowd greets the procession with flowers and offerings, the donkey believes that they are saluting his greatness. He kicks and jumps with joy, causing the idol to fall and break. The angry villagers punish the donkey. Moral: the respect you command is relative to the position you occupy. And if you kick that off, you have only yourself and your inflated ego to blame. As we tone down the ego, we gain peace of mind, which is very important for all of us. When people are your inspiration, what affects them adversely also affects the artist. The painting that is coming up is in response to terror attacks, and it is addressed to the terrorist and the terrorized. To the terrorist, it seeks to explain the futile nature of his actions, and to the terrorized, it seeks to eliminate the feelings of revenge. The Buddha in the painting is a symbol of peace, serenity, and humanity. A little poem that will take you into the artist's mind follows. My poetry is inspired by my own paintings as well as that of my colleagues, like I said before. So, endless trouble is taken to disrupt another's peace haven, little realizing a thought so fiery has first destroyed the perpetrator's peace of mind entirely. His life a worthless nonentity, he marches to the gallows eventually, multiplying his family's griefs ultimately. The dead are memory, the living move on. Peace is achieved simply by practicing the religion of humanity. I don't think I need to say more about this painting. I'm sure the poem took you through it. The artist believes that for all of humanity, the route to progress is knowledge. Next, we move to Anil's painting titled Purpose of Life, Knowledge. Here, Anil has combined the symbol of Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge, with that of the Buddha. That's the symbol. And that's the Buddha. Unifying the different dimensions of knowledge and realization. The Buddha denounced every worldly possession he had and went to seek knowledge and gained peace and wisdom which no wealth could buy. Anil has done around 50 paintings on a variety of topics ranging from the mundane to the extraordinary, adding interest to every topic. Next, we transition into Arif Sheikh's painting. The batteries run out? Okay, fine. The young, dynamic, and versatile Arif Sheikh is comfortable with painting as in the traditional style as well as computer art and fine art photography. He is a self-taught person following his passion. Arif Sheikh portrays honestly, even unabashedly, whatever he feels as he moves on in life. So I think Satyam Shivam Sundaram is a fitting description for Arif Sheikh's inspiration. Beauty, his own inner struggle, and a belief that life is for learning inspires him enough to paint. 4 lines of poetry to explain the painting that is coming up next. She is the center and life moves around her. Without her, I'm lost. I long to be found. That is the female figure, and these are the male figures that are there all around. That's him. The technique in this painting, one can easily see the beauty and honesty of his painting. The technique he used is also like a search because he put paint in between 2 layers of canvas and stroked it from the outside to get what he wanted to portray. Next, we move to his painting titled Honeymoon, but first a poetry to lead into the painting. A golden moon melting in the heat of passion, dark nights glowing like a campfire, crackling sheets like dried leaves under wandering feet, racing heartbeats and blissful retreats. In this painting, Honeymoon, you will see how the description fits. Even though the painting is in the Cubist style and looks rather abstract, I'm sure the poem leads you through the painting. Now, let's float into his next journey. Drifting through lifetimes, through space and forms, gaining experience, the soul transforms. The journey was created out of smoke. Learning to create art out of smoke is both painstaking and a difficult task physically. This was created by holding the canvas above a smoking flame and moving it slowly to get the forms he required. When the yearning to learn is very strong, an artist can go to any length. Arif was constantly craning his neck to look between the smoke and the canvas. Now you can see that even learning can be an inspiration for a painting. Every artist's source of inspiration can be anything from the universe to the sky to even stones. Yes, stones. As we move forward, I'll tell you about one incident and bring you back a full circle to my paintings and the blank canvas. When your mind is a blank canvas, you see what others don't. The picture, the first photograph in the slide, is of stones lying in the garden or view outside my window. The others are a zoomed in view for you. I was looking at, do you see anything odd about the stones? No? No? I'll tell you. I was looking at the stones, and you can't hear me? Yeah, okay. I was looking at the stones, and they were changing with the light. Suddenly, I was stunned to see one particular stone. And the way it was changing. I had never seen anything like that before. I grabbed all the art materials instinctively, dragged the canvas to the window, and started sketching directly with paints. Believe it or not, a stone was emoting. I'm not insane, please, but it was a fact. And this is what became of it. I called it anguish. When people see this painting, they ask me, why would you do a thing like that? Was something bothering you? You could have talked to us. But no, nothing was bothering me. But have you seen a stone emoting? That's an illusion. Maya. Now, I take you to the concluding part of this presentation, from Maya to Moksha. I started this presentation with my painting titled Maya, where Maya means the power by which the universe becomes manifest. And I end this presentation with my painting titled Finding Moksha, where moksha means eternal bliss or salvation. This painting has a similar technique to that of Maya, and I'll tell you why. Maya's little sister, Moksha, was with us in the studio while we were doing Maya. As soon as Maya finished, she was stamping her foot and saying, "Where's my canvas? I'm going to dance too." So she was so insistent, I gave her the canvas and I asked her what she would like to dance to. And she says, "I'm going to dance to a Bollywood number." So I said, fine. I chose the colors accordingly and started applying paint on her feet. And she was so happily dancing on the canvas. After she finished, I hung it up on the wall to dry, rolled it up and put it away. Every time she came home, she would look for the canvas and ask me, "When are you going to start?" And finally, I conceded. And I started work just like I did with Maya. I started to look at it to bring out the forms that I could see. And I could see churches, temples, mosques, office goers, children going to school, and there was so much happening on that canvas. But somewhere down the line, I decided I have to call it Moksha, as Moksha was the name, or at least finding Moksha. So I had to find Moksha on the canvas, and I was looking desperately for Moksha. And one fine day, I discovered it. There she was, stretched across the canvas, just like in Maya, blissfully pregnant and stroking her stomach in the middle of a maddening crowd. Can you see it? Yes. But it wasn't obvious while I was doing it, and it took a long while to actually come to it. I was pleasantly surprised and very happy with what I could see. can moksha lies in creation, I concluded. So, from Maya to moksha, you have the full connection. And was Maya there, moksha there all the while, hiding from me? Yes, moksha is always elusive. A little poem, my favorite one, about finding moksha. Birth to death is a marathon race to find moksha in this day and age. Chasing goals, changing ways, but moksha is always ahead of the race. Mata, Pita, Guru, Daivam, mother, father, teacher, God, in that order, Indian culture says is Satyam. Mother comes before the God, because she is the creator, the universe comes after. And in the process of creation, the mind finds satisfaction and achieves moksha, salvation. I conclude this presentation on that note, leaving you to search for your own moksha in the paintings that you see. Appreciate your attention for such a long time, and my special thanks to Mr. Satish Sivan, who initiated this talk, Mr. Yukesh Batras, who saw it through, and Mr. Pratik Mathur, who made sure that the event happened. Do we have Reenath? Do we have Reenath? Sindhu? She's not here. Okay. And I thank the Indian Embassy as a whole for giving me this unique opportunity to take you for a walk through the artist's mind. A big thank you also to Karen Lemmy, curator of sculpture at the Smithsonian American Art Museum. I don't think she made it today, but she took me through the art scene in this part of the world. And thank you, of course, to my family who've always stood by me. Thank you. Satyameva Jayate.
इस अद्भुत प्रस्तुति के लिए, इस सुंदर मनोरम यात्रा के लिए a big round of applause for Uma Ramakrishnan ji. धन्यवाद. दोस्तों, अब समय है प्रश्नोत्तरी सत्र का, जिसमें हम अधिकतम 4 प्रश्नों के उत्तर देने का प्रयास करेंगे. सभी श्रोताओं से आग्रह है कि आज के इस कार्यक्रम के संबंध में यदि आपके मन में कोई जिज्ञासा है, अथवा आज के कार्यक्रम के बाबत में यदि आप कोई प्रश्न उमा जी से पूछना चाहते हैं, तो कृपया अपने स्थान पर बैठे हुए अपना हाथ उठाएं. मेरी आपसे करबद्ध प्रार्थना है कि अपने प्रश्नों को अपने भाषणों में न बदलें. Time for Q&A, strictly related to today's program. We will take a maximum 4 questions. Those of you who have any questions related to any aspect of today's program, may please raise your hand. My colleague will hand over the mic to you. Anyone?
Hi, good afternoon. What a lovely presentation. I'm very much interested in the peacock. What inspiration and meaning there with that?
I'll tell you. The peacock that is displayed inside, it's not on the screen here, is the Indian national bird, and I have represented the whole peacock with one feather. That's the catch there. And the whole thing fits in a circle. And nobody can mistake it, I'm sure.
I wondered if any famous artist might have inspired you in some of your paintings. I see the donkey in there, sort of looks a little like Picasso. The blues and figures remind me of Marc Chagall. I wondered, were you influenced by any of these artists?
Yes, somebody did comment to me that it looks like Chagall and some like Picasso. Well, we studied about them, but the art that comes out when we sit in front of a canvas is just what happens. You don't follow a particular style. You don't think that I'm going to paint in this particular style or that. It just, for me, it just suits the subject, and so I do it. Okay.
I was just wondering, the little girl Maya,
Yeah?
who came and was pursuing your idea, and you gave her the canvas to paint. Was she doing Bharata on it?
Yes, she was doing Bharata Natyam on it, and she was doing the Tilana part, wherein I didn't have to concentrate on her facial expressions. It is the footwork.
So
So-
Tilana usually is very fast.
It's
moving.
very fast, yes. We had to help her because otherwise she would slip, and then I would get that on the canvas.
Thank you
Yes.
so much. Such a beautiful journey you've taken us.
Thank you.
I was wondering, you write poems to go with your paintings,
Yes.
which is fascinating. I wonder if has it ever happened that you wrote a poem first and then did a painting, or is it always the other way around?
The ones that you've seen so far are all written after the painting, basically inspired by the painting. But there are other poems which I intend to convert into artworks when I'm in the mood for that. Hi.
Did Anil Pawali guide you?
Well, yes, because he's my colleague, and we discuss things, we paint together. So yes, in a way. But his style is very different from that of mine.
Thank you so much, Uma. This
Thank
was
you.
wonderful.
Thank
I
you.
mean, I think our association with you goes back to over 2 decades, but what we've learned about you today, I don't think we knew from 20 years ago in Bombay. I have one question, and then our little 8-year-old Aman
Has one
another
question.
question.
Okay.
My question is, in the presentation today, there was a sense of flow. You know, you spoke about Maya, Moksha, how people inspired Anil. You know, the freedom of a blank canvas. But in reality, when we live life, and in your case, I would go back to your advertising days. I mean, did you ever have a conflict between the open flow that you were feeling inside to create your artwork versus the realities of life that we all live, like, you know, logistics of life? And how did you, as an artist, handle that conflict? So this is the longer question. The short question that Aman has is, Uma auntie, what is your favorite painting?
That's a difficult question. Okay. Was there a conflict? Well, in advertising, we painted or did artworks for the mass. And I was trying to think what you would be thinking of and interpret that and make an ad. But when it's painting, it is my own personal interpretation of my problems, my anything of life, and I don't have to draw to please anybody. So that's the freedom that I got. And there wasn't a conflict between the two because they were so different. It was two aspects of me. And that's the reason I chose applied art, so that something sustained me while I concentrate on something else. But it just took a while for me to establish myself and see that I get an income and then move on to art. And Aman, which is my favorite? I think you should tell me. Guess. I like Moksha.
So the next question is regarding moksha only.
Yeah.
आपने बताया कि मोक्षा बनाने के लिए आपने एक मोक्षा नामक विज्ञा को आपने नाचने के लिए कहा, नृत्य करने के लिए कहा. मेरी उत्सुकता है कि वो किस गाने पे आपने वो नाची थी.
वो मुझे याद नहीं है एक्चुअली. शी हैड ब्रॉट अ रिकॉर्डिंग ऑफ अ बॉलीवुड सॉन्ग एंड शी वाज डांसिंग टू दैट, बट एग्जैक्टली व्हाट शी डांस टू I don't remember, and she doesn't remember herself because she was so small then. I asked her actually.
Well, thank you everyone. उमा रामकृष्णन जी के प्रति आभार अभिव्यक्ति और अभिनंदन के लिए मैं आग्रह करता हूं प्रथम सचिव सुश्री सतवंत खनालिया जी से कि वे आएं और हम सबकी ओर से उन्हें फूलों का एक गुलदस्ता भेंट करें. I now invite First Secretary Satwant Khanalia ji to present a bouquet of flowers to Ms. Uma Ramakrishnan ji as a gesture of felicitating the artist. For those of you who would like to revisit the ideas discussed today by Uma ji, please be informed that the complete video recording of the program organized by us is available on Embassy of India Washington's channel on YouTube. दोस्तों, इसके साथ ही हमारा आज का ये कार्यक्रम समाप्त होता है. जाने से पहले एक छोटी सी बड़ी मधुर जानकारी. आज का दिन बहुत शुभ है, बहुत महत्व का है. ईसा से 557 साल पहले वैशाख मास के शुक्ल पक्ष की दशमी के दिन, जो कि आज का दिन है, लगभग 12.5 साल के कठोर तप के बाद महावीर जैन को कैवल्य ज्ञान प्राप्त हुआ था. बड़ा महत्व का दिन है. अपने सहयोगी अधिकारियों के साथ हम आपसे विदा लेते हैं. आज के कार्यक्रम के लिए, दूतावास में आने के लिए, आपके द्वारा कलाकार को दिए गए प्रोत्साहन के लिए हम सब आपके आभारी हैं. आशा है राजदूतावास में अगली बार होने वाले कार्यक्रम में आपसे पुनः भेंट होगी. हमारी ओर से आप सबको प्यार भरा नमस्कार, शुभ रात्रि. और अब अंग्रेजी में. That brings us to the end of our program today, together with our team of officers of the embassy. I thank you all for coming to this evening's program and for all your applause, appreciation, and looking at the Q&A participation. We look forward to seeing you again at another embassy event. Thank you, good night, and Shabbat Khair. Snacks are in the hall on my right. Thank you.